Hello everyone, and welcome back to Cooking with Suzanne. Today we're going to prepare another dessert. We're going to make a lemon creme brulee. Very few ingredients to make an absolutely wonderful dessert. So we're going to get started with heating up some heavy cream. I have 1.5 cups of heavy cream that I'm going to put on the stove to warm up. Here we go. And to that, we have 1/4 cup of sugar with 1 tablespoon of lemon zest. I also want to mention that this recipe will make 4 creme brulee. I pared it down so that it would make a small batch as opposed to a large batch. If you wanted to make 8 creme brulee, all you would have to do is double the recipe. It doubles perfectly. Okay, so in regard to the lemon zest, there's no lemon juice in this creme brulee. It's just the zest that flavors the creme brulee, and it flavors it beautifully. You can either use a classic regular lemon, or you could use a Meyer lemon if you happen to have access to them. They're absolutely delicious, and Meyer lemons, the zest of the Meyer lemon is a little sweeter, a little softer, a little more mild in flavor, but I use the regular lemon and I think they're fabulous. Okay, so I just want to show you how I zest it. I just have a real old-fashioned zester here. I happen to prefer it. What's nice about this type of zester is that it does not take any of the white pith underneath the zest, which does not have good flavor, and you don't want the white pith. You just want the lemon zest. So I just go down. I would say that you need about 2 normal size lemons, regular size lemons, to get a good tablespoon of lemon zest for this recipe. Okay, so here you have your strips of lemon, and all you have to do is just go down and just chop it fairly finely. And to this tablespoon, we will add 1/4 cup of sugar. And the only other ingredient we need to add is a touch of salt. That is to draw out the lemon flavor, to intensify it that much more. So I add just about 1/8 teaspoon of kosher salt. So here's our beautiful lemon zest right there. And I've already put in 1 tablespoon of lemon zest into my sugar. And to that, I'm just going to add a little bit of salt here. Just 1/8 teaspoon of salt, just to bring out the flavor of the lemon. Okay, so once your cream is warm, you don't want to bring your cream to a boil. You just want to warm it up. Then you're going to add your sugar and lemon zest to it. Okay, this looks terrific. It's not at a boil. It is nice and warm. You can see the steam coming out, so you know it's ready. And I'm just going to go ahead and put the sugar and the lemon zest and the salt right in. Then there's just one other ingredient, eggs, egg yolks actually. 3 egg yolks. So we have 1.5 cups of heavy cream. We have 1/4 cup of sugar, or 4 tablespoons. And 1 tablespoon of lemon zest and 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Take the entire mixture and put it in a bowl and let it come to room temperature. And make sure you get all the zest out of the pot. And after it has come to room temperature, you want to cover it with some saran and place it in your refrigerator overnight. So I prepared some cream. I prepared this mixture yesterday. And what I need to do now, it's cold, so you need to bring it back to room temperature, or actually make it warm before we go ahead and bake our creme brulee. So I'm going to put this back on the stove and warm it up just until it's, room temperature. In the meantime, I have my egg yolks. As I said, for one recipe, you would need 3 egg yolks. So I'm just going to get this whisked. And I have here my creme brulee dishes. We're just going to make 2 right now. And we do need a regular strainer because once we whisk in the warm cream into the egg yolk, we need to strain out the lemon zest. All that flavor is already in there, so you don't need the zest anymore. So growing up, at Easter time, we always used to have a wonderful lemon dessert. My mother was an amazing cook, and she loved lemon, and so do I. She would make lemon cakes and lemon meringue pie and lemon shortbread cookies. I remember one Easter she made this beautiful butterfly cake, and she had the whole outside of the butterfly was decorated in coconut with jelly beans and licorice, and it was just absolutely gorgeous. And the cake itself was this very buttery lemon cake. It was so, so good. So I have very, very fond memories of all these wonderful desserts that my mom used to make for us. And that's why I chose the lemon creme brulee. I love the flavor of lemon. Creme brulee at the restaurant was very popular. We used to make different flavors. Our favorite was definitely the vanilla bean creme brulee, which is a classic creme brulee. Okay, let's see how this is doing. Yes, it's nice and warm. It's almost there. You do want to make sure that the cream is back to room temperature or even slightly warm, because if you put your custard in cold and you bake it in the oven, it's going to take very long for it to cook. So you want to make sure you get it nice and warm again. Okay. I think we're there now. Yes, it's nice and warm. So now you're adding your cream to your egg yolk. You want to be able to add it slowly because you don't want to cook your eggs. You want to bring it all together, and you don't want your eggs to curdle, so take your time. There we go. Get all that lemon in there. So it's nicely mixed. Then just take your strainer and another bowl and just pass it through. Then all you have to do is just add it to your creme brulee dishes, almost all the way to the top. Okay, so we need to bake it in a water bath in order for you not to get a crust on the bottom. Since there is no crust, you want this nice silky custard, so we need to have it in a water bath, and it also helps for even cooking. So I have my tray here, and I have some hot water in my kettle, and you just fill it halfway up, and you're going to bake these custards at 325 degrees, depending on your oven, anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. We will take a look at these after 20 minutes. And before we pop them in, we're going to cover these with some saran wrap. You can put saran in your oven at a low temperature, and 325 is low enough. So you just take it and cover your whole tray. These are ready to go in the oven. We'll check them in 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, and they are perfectly cooked in 20 minutes. What you're looking for is just a very slight jiggle in the center, and then your custard is ready. So if your saran cracks open, and mine did right here, a little piece, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And if for any reason you needed to put it back in because you thought they were done and they really weren't done, you can remove the saran wrap, put them back in for another couple of minutes if you need to do that. So here we have them completely cooked, and I'm just going to pull off the saran so that you can see them. So here is our creme brulee, and I'm going to come around so that you can actually get a good look at it. They're pretty hot, but there's just a slight You can see the custard there. There's just a slight jiggle in the center. Okay, I just wanted you to see that. So we will let these cool to room temperature. They have to come completely to room temperature before you refrigerate them. And one thing, creme brulee is meant to be nice and cold. So you do need to plan to make this ahead of time. So I made 2 of them. I baked off 2 of them this morning. So these are nice and cold. So after they come to room temperature, you can either cover them with saran or put them in a container and pop them in your refrigerator overnight. So here we have 2 very cold. Now you can see them. These are nice and cold and ready to be finished off. Okay, so we have here, at the restaurant we used to, we have to coat them with some sugar so that we get this wonderful caramelization on the top and that wonderful nice crunch that everybody looks forward to, that crack, which is beautiful. We used a torch, and you can get one in the hardware store. Some people don't, they're not comfortable with that. So you can use your broiler, but if you are going to use your broiler, I suggest you put some ice. I have a tray here, and I have ice. And I'm going to set the creme brulee right on the ice. So then this way here, they can hopefully stay nice and cold once they go under the broiler, because there's a lot of heat coming from there. So before we go ahead and do that, I have here sugar in the raw, okay? And we're going to coat the top with this sugar in the raw. So all I'm doing is coating the top and then shaking out any excess. And we are ready to pop these in the oven. I'm going to stay by the oven and watch them. I haven't done them under a broiler in a long time, so I'm going to watch them very carefully. And in the meantime, we have a wine expert that's going to come and talk to you about dessert wine, which is very big in the Finger Lakes. We have some amazing dessert wines, and I think there's more than one that will pair very beautifully with this lemon creme brulee. So Bob, do you want to come in and join us?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. Mwah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So expert is a little bit lofty, but could be well deserved. Who knows? So dessert wine. So how many people out there like dessert wine? I see a few hands. Okay. So dessert wine is popular in some areas of the world. Where is it popular? It's popular in the Finger Lakes. It's popular in Canada, both east and west. It is popular in some parts of Europe, Spain, for example, France, parts of France. And where it's popular, it's kind of a big deal. It's it can be very difficult to make. An ice wine, for example, is made harvesting the grapes while they're frozen. So we're, like for example, in the Finger Lakes, you're doing that in January or February, where it is bitter, bitter cold, and that's the start of the process of making it. So it's pretty intense and pretty. You got to be pretty. What's the right word? You got to be ready for the experience. There you go. So for dessert wines, we can go one of 2 ways, right? Typically, maybe 3 ways. We'll throw in port as a third way. Port's a huge, huge dessert wine. We're not going to get into that today, just because we're not going to pair this with port. And oh, by the way, I do have my lemon creme brulee shirt on. Suzanne did not notice, but I think you did. So 2 ways to go outside of port. One is what we call late harvest wine. And late harvest wine is simply that, right? It is harvested late in the year. So when we harvest it late, more sugar is going to be in the grape, and therefore the product, the wine product, is going to have more residual sugar than a typical, wine that you're drinking with dinner. That's one way. And the second way, I kind of alluded to it before, is an ice wine, right? Where you wait till the winter, harvest it then. And those wines, because all the sugar is coming to the grape, tend to be very high in residual sugar. So the late harvest Rieslings can be 4 to 6 to 8% typically. The ice wines can be 20 to 30 plus. So there are two wines that I'd like to recommend. One is a Chateau Lafayette late harvest Riesling. Comes in a small 375 milliliter bottle, as most dessert wines do. And also, it's not specifically a dessert wine, it doesn't have a label of dessert wine, if you will, but a late harvest Riesling from Hermann J. Wiemer. It's in a regular 750 milliliter bottle, so you get a lot more dessert wine in it. Both are not terribly sweet, right? They're not cloyingly sweet. So Chateau Lafayette, I think, is around 6 to 8%. Hermann J. Wiemer is about 4%. So here we have this luscious, elegant creme brulee. It's got lemon in it. It really doesn't need a lot, but the pairing should be equally, in my opinion, not sweet, not cloyingly sweet. So it's refreshing. Both wines tend to have stone fruit type flavors, peach nectarine sort of things, which will apricot, which will go lovely with the lemon. I will be wearing this shirt, right, when I have it this evening.
Or now.
Or now. I will have it now while I'm eating this. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is I heard before Suzanne mentioning about her mom, your mom, and lemon desserts.
Mm-hmm.
And what she didn't mention is the lemon meringue pie that my mom is famous for, was famous for.
I did mention the lemon meringue pie.
But did you give my mom kudos?
No.
No, see
It's
that?
my mom.
No, my mom's lemon meringue pie was, I don't want to say it was better than yours, but it was great. And I believe you used my mom's recipe today, but that's okay. We'll settle this by ourselves. Are you laughing?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. See you later.
Well, you can stay.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have this.
Okay.
So I've taken the creme brulee out of the tray, and I just want you to see there's quite a bit of water here because it melts that fast. And if you can pick up one of the little creme brulee torches or one from a hardware store, it is the most ideal way to actually caramelize the sugar as opposed to using the broiler. But the broiler is all we had here today. Okay, I'm going to grab our plates and we'll just plate this up. I thought a piece of lemon pound cake would go very nicely with our creme brulee. Here is our custard, and I would like to finish it off with a little bit of whipped cream. We'll just do a little canal of whipped cream here. And we'll add some raspberries, or if you had strawberries would be very, very nice with the lemon. And here we go. If you had a little sprig of mint, you could put some mint here, which would be very, very nice. It would look lovely. Okay. And here is our lovely creme brulee with lemon pound cake. Hopefully you can see that very well. And we'll grab a spoon and crack into it and see how it tastes. And I think Bob has a tiny bit of Hermann Wiemer Riesling
I do.
to try with it.
So normally we would use a really nice, cute, fancy dessert wine glass. You certainly don't have to do that if you put it in a bigger glass. Usually the pour is rather small. It's not a 6-ounce pour or anything like that. It's more
of these kind of wine glasses.
more of those kind of wine
Yeah,
glasses.
there
Right.
we go. Okay, so
How come you didn't give me those before?
I didn't know that you needed
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
You want to have a taste?
Sure.
Let's crack into it.
Yep.
And see how it tastes. Nice crunch.
It is lovely. Let's see how my wine pairing goes.
You can see that beautiful lemon custard there. Delicious.
You know, once again, it just cleanses the palate enough, and it has those stone fruit flavors to make you want to dig in for more. Not that you need the wine to make you want to dig in for more,
That's
but it
great.
does a nice job in that regard.
That is great. So to all of you who are celebrating Easter today, we want to wish you a very happy Easter.
Cheers to you and your families, and have a great day.
Have a great day, everyone.